Hey everyone, so I'm nearing the end of my commemorative fasting for 9/11 of 2,996 minutes, and I thought I summarize how I felt during this time before I go break the fast. I felt freed again, and unfortunately, my as you can see, I'm kind of having trouble coming up with the words because of the symptoms of the fasting. But I feel very lightweight and free and almost de-chained from the routines of having to eat. There's a lot more that goes on when one eats a meal, right? I noticed that my camera that I'm recording this with isn't so dirty, greasy. My computer keyboard is very well maintained. Obviously, I spent a whole lot less time. One of my viewers claimed he spent about 2 hours a day eating. I actually find I spend a lot more than 2 hours when I eat because my train of thought takes at least 10-20 minutes to return, and oftentimes more, especially if I get very specific food cravings and I go out, right? Sometimes in the middle of the night I get a food craving for something that's really specific, right? I haven't been doing that much all year, so that has been very liberating. I can't do that anymore because most of the stores don't open 24 hours anymore, right? And one thing that helps me, and this is a worry I have, but I'm gonna get to it when I have to deal with this actual concern. But one of the big problems is that oftentimes when I'm going on these multi-day fasts, if I have a craving for something, or even if I just have a desire to eat in general, I tell myself, hang in there, it's only gonna be another 24 or 48 hours or whatever it is, right? Well, the problem is that when I travel to Taiwan, there's a lot of some of my favorite foods there are not available back home, right, in the United States. And so this idea that I can have the food later will probably break down, right? I'll have to see how I handle that. I've been thinking about this for some time now, and the best I can think of is maybe when I'm in Taiwan, maybe I should give up the foods that I can have here in the United States, right? Maybe give up some of the carbohydrates because that stuff I can have in the United States probably a whole lot cheaper than over there anyhow, right? Like the brown rice, the quinoa, and all that. Give that up when I'm in Taiwan and focus on the foods that I can have in Taiwan that are not available here in the United States, right? Okay, what else did I think about during the fast? I find that I'm a lot more relaxed, right? When I'm talking on the phone, I got into it wasn't during this fasting session, but a couple weeks ago I was also fasting, and my mom and I were talking on the phone, and she was hoping I do well with my investments, and she was wishing that precious metals would go up. Because I dumped a lot of money into my Roth IRA for mining stocks, and I was trying to explain to her how I actually want it to go down because I want to buy more, right? Especially when 2021 rolls around and I get to contribute again to my Roth IRA, right? And she was like, "Well, don't you want to enjoy your investments one day?" And so I'm trying to explain to her, whenever I withdraw from the Roth IRA, right? 50 years from now, that gold mining stock is going to be whatever the price is, right? The lower it is on the way there, the more shares I can buy, right? And she kept rudely, I couldn't get through the whole statement because she would interrupt. She would say, "Well, how do you know it's going to be higher on the day you retire?" And the answer to that is, even if it's lower, the less I buy, the better, right? The less I lose, right? The less I buy it at, the less and it's such an it's literally 2 sentences, but I couldn't get the 2 sentences to her without her interrupting 20 times, right? But I was fasting, and it didn't seem to bother me, right? At the end of the day, I'm going to be investing in my Roth IRA whether or not she approves, right? Sometimes we forget about the big picture, but when I was fasting, that was a whole lot easier for me, right? I love how I'm a professor at one of the universities in Seattle. Right now I'm living in Missoula because I get to work over Zoom. But I can't tell you how many times on Zoom I've had to mute out students who want to rudely interrupt all sorts of stuff. And I can actually get through with my lecture, right? In the classroom of it. Used to be. Well, what's really funny is that now that I'm teaching over Zoom, it makes me really think about my own family planning, right? I have some of my students, they're in their early to mid-20s, and in the background they got babies that are screaming, and it just goes to show that maybe I should think twice before having children, right? Which is a big problem for me, because most of the girls that I date, I end up breaking up with because they want children. The whole Zoom has really cemented the idea that I don't want children. Anyway, what else is going on? Every time I talk to my friends about wishing that we had a pill that would replace food, the main objection I hear is, well, but they enjoy food. Actually, so do I. I just wish it were more of an optional item instead of... See, I love going on vacation, right? But if I needed to go on a vacation every week or else I would die, I don't think I would like it so much. Actually, I think there are people who go on vacation for a living. I wouldn't want to take a job like that, right? Same thing with the food, right? I love it, but I don't want to be chained to it, right? I think there's a difference in that, right? I would still want to have a pill that would replace food to take most of the time, right? And then maybe once a month, go on a little food vacation, right? A lot of people don't seem to understand that concept. Right, it's a lot of Americans have this all or nothing kind of mentality, right? I don't. Anyway, all right. I'll leave it off here. As you can see, I'm starting to have a mental confusion kind of symptoms at this point. But it was a nice journey, and want to wish the family members of the 2996 people that I commemorated today well. Thanks for watching.